What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to The Pursuit of Calling, the podcast that provides you with the strategies and tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your calling. Whether it's through inspiring stories, thought-provoking interviews, or quick, insightful episodes on personal growth and development, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Thomas Carney. Enjoy the episode. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year. I'm a little late saying that, but happy New Year. You already saw it in my title, but in this episode, I wanted to talk about my word of the year. The reason I even thought about making word of the year this year was, I'm saying year a lot, is because I was going through the Maxwell Leadership Facebook group one day, and there was this post after post after post of people sharing their word of the year and why it was their word of the year, why they chose it, and how they were going to use it to pursue the goals and calling that they were living in. I was a little late to the party. Last year, I was very late, and I don't think I chose my word till like halfway through the year, but it was the word focus. I wanted to focus more on the goals that God was calling me to live in. And, it's easy for me to get distracted. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be surprised if I went and got a positive diagnosis for ADHD. I don't like to self-diagnose, but I toe that line sometimes. And I had the word focus in all caps every month written on my calendar in pen. So every time I walked past it, anytime I needed a reminder, I would see the word focus, and the reminder of why I wrote it in the first place would help me focus on the goals that I set out to achieve. This year, you already know from the title, potentially if it's in the title, I actually don't know yet, but this year, my word is innovate. So that word's been popping up in my head a lot this year, and a little bit late in last year when it comes to thinking about AI and the innovations that's been happening with that. It's a technological innovation. They're just like with AI, there's going to be growing pains, but we're going to get through it. And this just goes to show that in true progress and growth, there is pain. In true progress and growth, it's painful. So this year, that's what I want to talk about. Not about pain, not about pain, but about growth, about innovation. My goal this year is to innovate my life, how I pursue my goals, how I pursue my calling. I want to bite down when it hurts, when I really don't want to pursue the things that I said I was going to pursue because my day was hard, which happens. And sometimes you have to give yourself grace, give yourself a break. But I want to make sure that I keep pushing forward, because I've spent too long doing nothing. I spent too long not pushing forward. So I want to find new ways. I want to innovate, find new ways to effectively pursue what God is calling me towards. For example, I had a friend challenge me last month to send out 15 text messages every single day to other people in my contact list in order to promote and get the word out about my coaching. I don't know if that was the most effective strategy, but I know what it did for me. It caused me to every day think about my coaching. It caused me every day to have different conversations about what my coaching is, who it's for, and why I'm doing it at all. Something I haven't done in ever. So how are you going to innovate this year? Not only in your goals, like what they are, but how you pursue your goals. What are the strategies you're going to follow or create? What are the habits that you're going to stop, or the habits you're going to need to create in order to pursue this calling and pursue these goals well? And who are you going to have to become in order to be the person that achieves the big goals that you're setting out to achieve? Because I believe if you're listening to this podcast, you have big goals. You have a calling in your life, and you know that, and you want to pursue it with excellence. So what kind of person are you going to have to become in order to do that? What relationships are you going to have to cut out, or what relationships are you going to have to seek out? What kind of people are you going to need to surround yourself with in order to pursue your calling well? One of the ways I dove deeper into figuring out my goals is by writing them out in detail. I want to actually suggest, usually I do have another action I want you to do, but I took a little bit of time. I thought about, like, what are my goals? I wrote maybe like a checkbox. Like, I want to write a goal about my pain. I want to write a goal about my coaching. And I followed this framework. I answered 2 questions. I answered, what is the goal? In detail, and nothing's off the table. I don't know if you ever heard of the BHAG. It's called a big, hairy, audacious goal. Like, whatever this goal is, you write it out. Nothing's off the table. And then you answer the second question. What would accomplishing this goal mean to you? And I want to read you an example just so you kind of get a grasp on what that means. And this is all part of me innovating the way I pursue the goals is by actually fully defining what they are. So here's my goal for 2026 when it comes to my pain and condition of muscular dystonia. This says, and see if I can read my handwriting. It says, my goal for 2026 is to be pain-free. I know it's crazy, right? Without medication and through sustainable, holistic strategies. Being pain-free this year brings freedom in a heightened capacity. When I'm pain-free, I'll be incredibly thankful to God for the healing. I'll be able to consider buying a house outside of the 10 to 15 minute range I can drive right now to Amplify Church. Because keep reading. I'll be able to pick up other people to go to events and be able to drive home to see my parents anytime I want. I'll go on road trips. I'll do, and then I trailed off. I said I'll do this through seeking out ... That was the next step, was to write out. I didn't get that far yet, but the next step is to break that down into actionable steps and reverse engineer that goal. Because that's not a SMART goal yet. I don't know if you know that acronym, but it's specific. It stands for being a goal being specific, measurable. I think it's achievable. AR. I don't know. Last one's time bound. I forget what the R stands for. But you reverse engineer that goal and then create smaller goals to create more goals that are time bound, and we work back from there. But that I read that goal to you because it's big, it's hairy, it's audacious. I don't know if I'm actually going to accomplish it. I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to do everything I can to achieve it by reverse engineering it and figuring out what I need to do in order to pursue that with excellence. That's what I want for you too. I want you to be able to write your goals out for this year, 2026, using the framework of what are your goals and what does it mean? What would it mean for you to achieve them? So how about your faith? If you're listening to this podcast, you're most likely a follower of Jesus Christ. Or at least you're maybe a little curious enough to still be listening to the podcast. So what areas of your life still need to be handed over to him? What areas of your life still need to go through that growth? You need to go through that innovation of being what you want it to be versus what he's calling for it to be. What rooms in your heart still need to be opened for him? For me, I love studying scripture. And it helps me grow closer in my faith with him. It helps me understand more of who he is and who he was and who he's going to continue to be. So, but for you, I want you to answer this question. Are your goals that you've set out, that you've wrote out, are they aligned with what he's calling you to do and live in? You might be wondering, like, how do I figure that out? You pray on it. You ask him. Your goals might change. You might find out that your goals are selfish. You might find out that your goals are too small and that he's calling you higher. And the only way you're going to find that out is by asking him and by knowing who he is, by reading his word. So guys, the last thing I want to leave with you, and I just want to ask, what is your word of the year? If you don't have one, that's okay. You can borrow mine. You can use Innovate, but I want you to pray on that too. Pray on a word of the year. What is a word that God can use to center you and to direct you that will keep you on the path he wants you on? It could be Innovate. It might not be. But guys, once you do that, go on, and I would love to hear your goals. I love to discuss them with you. I'm gifting everyone a free discovery coaching call. It's a 1-hour discussion that you and I can just sit down and have a 1-hour discussion about the goals that you just laid out. So if you were interested in that, you can click the link in the podcast description on YouTube or whatever platform you're on. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely go out to Instagram, Facebook, all the other places, and share this out on social media so that others that can be impacted and others can pursue their goals with excellence, pursue the calling that God has on their lives. Share with your family, share it with your friends. And guys, if you enjoy this episode, don't forget to rate it anywhere you listen, anywhere you can. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast. My name's Thomas Carney. I'll see you next time. Keep pursuing your calling well.